Hello there, welcome to Söderåsen. This is a national park here in the south of Sweden, in Scania where I live. About an hour drive from where I live. I've been here many times before and we've returned here. This is a place well worth returning to, and there's a lot of things to explore here. As you might see, it's still really grey and overcast. And that is the reality of Scania, the south of Sweden, with the winter time. We do get snow every now and again, for like a week or so every year. Mostly just overcast, grey, slight drizzle, like today. Actually, I do think it's a bit of snow mixed among the rain. It is grey overcast, and we're out trying to make some photographs. But it is also a great time to try out new things, and that's exactly what we are doing today. So today we are out shooting Delta 400 with the Hasselblad. As you might know, I'm kind of in the search for a new 400 film, a new ISO 400 film. Faster film than my default FP4 film. Tried HP5, I didn't quite like it, so we are trying Delta today. And see if we can make some nice images with that. Let's see what we can find today. Well, I think I found my first image of the day here. As there's no light today, this really overcast day, we kind of have to rely on color and how they will render in the gray tones. And have a nice distribution between colors will give a nice distribution between gray tones. So what we have here that kind of draw my eye to this is actually this rocky hillside here with this moss on the rocks. So this is a different luminosity between the greens. That will translate to slightly different gray tones. We'll have this nice gradient of gray tones there. So that's like my main subject here. I'm actually shooting with my wide angle lens here, so my 50mm. I don't use that as much, but it is probably my sharpest lens for the Hasselblad. So we have these rocks, that's like my main subject, and they are kind of the foreground element. They kind of needed something more, and we have three nice positioned trees that are kind of interesting in themselves. So we have this like twisted tree, these quite prominent big trees up on the right, and another quite big tree to the left. And I think those are nice little background elements to this image, and I think this will work quite well as a landscape image. So that's the first image of the day. Let's take the image as well. This is actually a great test for the Delta 400's latitude when it comes to exposure, because even though it's this really overcast day, it's quite a big dynamic range in the scene. So the darkest area down between two of the rocks, we have about an EV of around 6. And if I do measure the sky up there against the sky is around 12-13. So it's quite a big dynamic range, high dynamic range, even though it's this quite low contrast scene. So it would be interesting. Another little problem with this, it is an incredibly deep scene. We have foreground element incredibly close to the lens. I think it's only half a meter from the lens. And the other thing is the last little subject up there. It's like perhaps 20 meters from the lens, and I can't get all that in one shot, and I won't focus blend it. What I will do is I will focus on this rock to the right. That is like my main subject, and it's important that is in focus. So that's the decision I'm making in the field. I want that rock in focus, and then those three will just have to fall where they fall. I did, however, shoot it at f16, and according to the little depth of field scale on the lens, 16 will give me just over 8 meters at the far end of that. I will take another exposure and stop this lens down to 22, the smallest aperture of this lens. that would actually put me on the infinity mark. Diffraction starts to become an issue, so we'll see which versions will be the one I prefer in the end, but we'll do that as well. I kind of ended up doing an exposure of, so at f16 it's 1/8 of a second, so when I'm doing 22 will be 1/4 of a second. So you kind of need that ISO 400 film in a day like this. It's quite dark, even though it's the middle of the day. So ISO 400, quite useful. So breaking out the long lens here. If you ever struggle with subject, just sit down and have lunch. That's exactly what I did here. And I started seeing subjects, like just looking out over the landscape as I had my lunch. There's two images I want to take here. One is to my left. We have this really dense woodland with some birches and some gnarly, thin-looking trees. Look kind of interesting, and with the long lens, the compression, and yeah, it works quite well, I think. Nice, subdued, kind of spooky image, I think. And then a bit to my right, we have this hillside I'm looking towards. We have this nice layering effect there. So we have like layering with reds, and I think that would be quite nice, but I will have to move a bit further up to the right there to find a nice framing for that. So we'll start with the left image here with that kind of spooky wood lens. We'll see if it works. Going to set up the tripod. I kind of just found my general composition handheld, and then I'll just switch to the tripod, and I hope the image works. I don't know about the shot. This could be just a bit too bland. So as I said before there, I really like the nice layering effect of these three here, like these pinkish, almost magenta trees. There's some birches among them, but there's no real subject in this image. So I don't think this will work. I did take it though, but yeah, I think it just lacks a subject. I still like the layering effect, but yeah, kind of just going with thirds, so there's like kind of 3 layers, I suppose. And then I hope those birches will be enough of interest to make this an image, but this could just be a wasted frame, who knows. But you never know until you try it, so I did try it. We'll see when I have the film developed. I did say this is a day of experimentation, didn't I? Well, I seem not to find any clear-cut subjects today. This is kind of interesting if it works. We have like 3 different colored trees here, very subdued. We have a naked tree, then we have one of those evergreen trees, then we have this like brownish lighter grey tree. There's something there, and I think it will work quite nice in black and white if the tonality is there. Composition wise there's nothing special, it's just filling the frame with these trees and just getting as close as possible with an 80mm to the standard lens this time. Could be an interesting image, or it's just rubbish. We'll see when we have the film developed. We'll see if we are able to find anything more today. As I said, the light is fading, so this might be the last little image of the day. But I'll try and find one clear-cut subject that would be nice just to test the film, I suppose. So apparently I don't do straight cut compositions today. This is another of those images that can go either way. Either it's quite good or it's just what were you doing kind of images. What drew me to the scene was these mossy rocks here. Once again the mossy rocks. But there is some different tonality to them. They are a bit lighter than the other mossy rocks here. There's kind of a nice shape to them, and that's what was drew my eye. And then I just tried to make a frame around that and using the tree as like an anchor in the image. And so I have this right hand tree here, I like my right hand anchor, then we have that group of tree in the background as my little anchor in the background. But yeah, the main draw for me was these mossy rocks, once again. We'll see if this image works. I did 2 different compositions here, slightly different, just moving like a meter or so. Just because up in the right hand there is some distracting tree that kind of crept in up on the right hand. But yeah, that is the final image of this day. So 2 frames, and I do have 2 frames left on this roll. I suppose I had to expose those on another day. But that is it for today. I'm almost back in my car, so it would be nice to get home and get warm again. We'll see. We might continue this tomorrow.